it is Survivor and Scrapping Mania, and today I'm going to create a page in my art journal. Now I'm practicing a technique of collage using wax. So I have a old candle that I purchased at my local Goodwill store, and I also purchased this crock pot. It's called a Little Dipper, and I got that also at the Goodwill store. And that's perfect for your wax. So you can put your candle in there, then you turn it on and it melts. The other thing I'm going to be using is this brush, 1-inch brush that I purchased at the local hardware store, and it was like 99 cents. And that's going to help me put the wax on. What I want to do is I want to create a collage, and then I want to use this doll on my collage with the flowers. Okay. And I got some leftover papers here. This is from Webster's Pages. And these are from Heidi Swap. So I have a tag. I got something that says enjoy every day. I got a strip. These are from other projects that I made, some leftover scraps that I want to use here. This is also some leftover scrap. I got some little icons here. I'm going to use that for my collage. And I also have some text paper here. I'm going to be using this to create the flowers. And also I'm going to maybe use it for my doll. And that way I can color her in. I may stamp my doll on this mixed media. Actually I'll use this. This is some Prima paper that I purchased some time ago. So I'm going to use this to stamp my Prima doll on so I can color it. The other thing that I am going to use, once I go ahead and do my collage, I'm going to go ahead and use my Prima watercolors for the hair tones and skin. And then I got these 72 of art bars. I'm going to see how these work. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to have like a watercolor effect. Hopefully it works. This is the first time that I do a collage technique using wax. So that's why I'm going to try it out on my art journal, because I want to go ahead and create some home decor artwork using wax medium and using a collage. And I got these artist canvas panels, and I found this one at Big Lots, and it was pretty economical, so I want to use it, but I only have two. I don't want to destroy it in case I don't like how it looks. So what I always like to do is I like to try out the technique on my art journal, and then if it does come out nice, then I go ahead and transfer that same technique on a canvas. So I'm going to go ahead and speed up the video, and I hope you like this technique. So I started this technique by putting some wax, similar to if I was using some gel medium, on the bottom of the page, and then putting more wax on top of the paper. Now I'm using very thick cardstock, and you will see in a moment that it really does not work. The papers were not soaking in the wax, so I end up pulling everything off and then using tissue paper. And since I already have one layer of wax on the bottom of this page, I end up using tissue paper. And I went back to my heat tool instead of my hair dryer, because the heat tool, it doesn't force a lot of air and it doesn't blow everything all over the place. When you're using a hair dryer, the hair dryer tends to have more force behind it. Even though the temperature is lower, it has a lot more force. So for this technique, I feel like the embossing heat tool is a lot better to put the paper down than it is a hair dryer. So this stamp by Stupendous is called Blossom Beauty, and it comes, well, it doesn't come. You can buy the coordinating dies separate. But I really like this stamp because you can get 3 different flowers from this one stamp, and I will show you how you get that using your dies. So now I'm going to color my flowers using some art bars by Duent, and these are watercolor. I don't know if they're crayons. They're more chalky. They're not as creamy as crayons, but they go on very nicely, and they really dissolve very well with water. Another product that I want to try is this micro glaze by Judenkins. I saw a video from Tim Holtz, and Ranger is going to bring this product called Microglaze. I went on Amazon and I searched for Microglaze by Judikins, and I found it. So, and actually it was an add-on purchase, so it came out pretty cheap. It was about $4, I believe, and as long as you bought a $25 item. And I needed to buy another charger for my cell phone, and so it did it, and the charger was over $25, so it was perfect. So I went ahead and got this, and what this does is it's a wax kind of substance that you put over your watercolor and you smear it on, and it makes your watercolor waterproof. So you can, it won't smear. Once you put this on, you can hit it with water and it will not smear. And then it does give it a nice little sheen to it. See the little sheen? Now, Tim Holt, what he recommended is once you put the product on, to take a piece of paper and kind of rub it against it to take off, I guess, the sheen. I'm not sure, but so let's go ahead and do the other one. And you only need a little bit of this product, not a lot. Now with this product, I can go ahead and put other wet medium on top, and it will not smear my watercolor. So I'm using these watercolor pencils by Prima, and they're the ones that are the Judy Nutting face, hair watercolor colors. I really like these. They're very smooth too. They really react very well with water, and you don't really see the streaks like some other watercolor crayons or pencils that sometimes happens. So I'm going to put a little light layer of microglaze and then making sure that dries, and I'm going to cut my doll out, and then I'm going to start cutting out my blossoms here using the 3 coordinating dies. Okay, so let's talk about these dies, because when I first saw the stamp and I saw this die, and in Amazon I saw this stamp with this die as a combo, because you know how sometimes it gives you suggestions. You find a product and it suggests other products that goes with it. I didn't understand how 3 dies will go with just 1 stamp. So I was looking for another set of stamps that had these 3 stamps together. So I didn't realize that it was the way that they designed this flower stamp, it made these 3 flowers. So let me show you how it is. So I cut 3 already. So this little stamp, this little flower was created with this die, with the smaller die, and it's actually the part of the top of the stamp. See that? Then the next flower, the medium one, was created right here. So I cut that out. So that's perfect. And then the last one, the larger die, it was the whole stamp. So I didn't realize that that was the case. So in case you see this stamp with the die, with then you know that it cuts out 3. The 1 flower stamps makes 3 flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some more of these flowers, and I shall be back. Because my napkin is very bright, I wanted to tone it down, so I decided to go over it with gesso, and then went over it with baby wipe to just take the excess out. And then I'm using again the wax to glue down my doll to the page. And I'm going to be doing that to all my flowers. And then I decided to use some adhesive, because I was having a hard time, I don't know, but it was having a hard time kind of getting everything stuck together with the wax. Especially the doll was made with cardstock. I was having a hard time laying down the cardstock and keeping it on the page. So that's why I started using some tacky glue to keep it down. So, and then I wanted to give the doll some hair, so here I'm just kind of playing a little bit. I noticed that my wax reacted a little bit with the ink, which is okay. So I'm just laying down more pieces using glue in addition to the wax on top of it. So the next thing I'm gonna try is to use a stencil and then use my Heidi Swap spray ink to see if it will stay put. And then the next thing I am using is this Prima paste, is the crackle paste, and I'm putting butterflies throughout the page. And then using our Archival Brown on the edges, and a little bit of glitter glue to give a little sparkle to my page, plus so I sprinkle some glitter on top of it. And then this page is that sometimes you have to try a new technique, because this is completely new to me, using wax on a page. Okay, so I'm done with my page. So some of the things that I've learned from this experiment is that using beeswax to adhere pages down will not work very well if it's cardstock or heavy paper. It does work very well for thin paper and tissue paper. So the thinner the paper, the better the adhesion with the wax. The other thing that I've learned is that the Ranger Archival ink does react a little bit with the wax. It did mix, and as you can see there, when I heated it up, it did smear a little bit, but that's okay. And wax, if you put a lot of wax on your peas, it makes it a little cloudy. You can see they're a little cloudy, which I like. I mean, that's fine. The other thing that I kind of learned from this is that you really need to put glue down on your pieces. So I think if I did this again, I will go ahead and glue my pages down with adhesive first, and then after I do that, I do go over it with the wax medium. So I think that will be my next technique if I use this technique again. So overall, I do like this page. I love the stamp. Definitely, that's a keeper. And I do love the flowers that the stamp came with. It's very nice. I really like that. And other than that, Heidi Swap Color Shine, it really adhered well, so it's permanent. So that's a nice surprise, because this has a lot of beeswax. So I was experimenting with some of my sprays to see if it will adhere, and it did. So that's a nice surprise. So I hope you liked this video, and I've done some techniques that maybe you want to try out, or I also gave you some feedback on some of the stuff that I discovered while using this technique. So I hope you liked this video, and thank you for watching. Bye now.